integrity, and judicial prudence. Because the administration of justice is a sacred task entrusted only to individuals with the highest degree of competence. A judicial position is a position of honor and is offered only to those who are best qualified. You have never been a judge before, nor were you a justice of the appellate courts. How do you assess yourself in connection with these ideals?
Well, I have the requisite competence, integrity, probity, and independence. As I said earlier, the cornerstones of the practice in my firm is integrity and excellence, and we have been doing that since the time the CCF law was founded in 1945. We are an apolitical firm, and we do not subscribe to political connections in the pursuit of our legal profession. And I'll be bringing with me no baggages with me, no strings attached when I become, if ever, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Well, your senior partner, Justice Feliciano, was together with me in the Supreme Court. And I can say without any opposition that he is the paragon of a good justice. And so if you are a member of his firm, then the possibility is that you are also of the same mold.
He is precisely my model, Mr. Justice.
What is your judicial philosophy? If you become a Chief Justice of the Supreme Court?
Mr. Justice, a judge's judicial philosophy or decision-making process is largely shaped by the Code of Judicial Conduct. Canon 3 of the Code states that a judge must determine the facts and apply the applicable law to the set of facts. So if there are clear-cut legal norms applicable, I would simply apply the legal norms to the set of facts. However, there are situations where there are no clear-cut legal provisions or norms that are applicable. But I have to decide a case because the instruction in Article 9 of the Civil Code is that no judge shall decline to render judgment because of the silence, obscurity, or insufficiency of the laws. But in those cases, I have to navigate uncharted waters using my experience as a guide and guided by my beliefs. So there's a spectrum, one end of which is judicial activism and the other is judicial restraint. I will be inclined to be an activist if a person is unreasonably deprived of his life or liberty or even property, or if there has been a grave abuse of discretion on the part of a particular branch of government. So for instance, if I may illustrate, if I were a justice of the Supreme Court at the time the case of Allied Banking Corporation versus Court of Appeals was decided, I would have dissented because in that case the majority expanded the coverage of the trustees law in violation of the fundamental tenet that penal laws must be strictly construed in favor of the accused and its scope should not be expanded by implication. On the other hand, if I were part of the Supreme Court at the time the case of Salvacion versus Central Bank of the Philippines was decided, I would have sided with the majority because there the Supreme Court prevented a foreign national who had raped a 12-year-old Filipina from using as a defense the provision in the Foreign Currency Deposit Act prohibiting the garnishment of his deposit. If the Supreme Court did not allow the garnishment of the deposit of that foreign national, justice would have been compounded. Justice would not have been served to that rape victim. But then to summarize, if
I'll give you an example.
Oh, all right.
When you enter the portals of the Supreme Court of the United States, you will see emblazoned the following words: equality under law. It's a revelation of the court's judicial philosophy. Here in the Philippines, the Supreme Court of the Philippines, what do you have? Batas, bayan. That's their short term. Now, the integrated bar of the Philippines has this: no master but law, no guide but conscience, no aim but justice. In your case, how do you shorten your judicial philosophy?
I think those mottos are just a short restatement of the concept of independence, that the judge must dispose of a case purely on the basis of merits in accordance with justice and law, without being influenced by any extraneous factor.
Do you abide by the judicial philosophy of the integrated bar of the Philippines? No master but law, no guide but conscience, no aim but justice.
Yes, justice, yeah.
Why? What is your concept of justice?
Justice is being able to provide speedy disposition of cases, because justice delayed is justice denied.
So, on what basis do magistrates base their opinions, their decisions? On the basis of law.
In the basis of law, yes.
So, if the law does not coincide with your conscience, will you abide by the law?
I think, unless amended, the applicable legal norms should be applied, Mr. Justice.
If the law does not coincide with your concept of justice, will you abide by the law?
It depends on the factual circumstances at the time. I am between judicial activism and judicial restraint.
What subject in law is your forte, Attorney Morales?
When I was a law student, I excelled in all subjects, Mr. Justice.
Yes, you made it with the grade of, you made the bar in the grade of 87.79. Was that?
I was number 4 in the bar exams.
That was number 4.
Yes.
So what was your highest grade in the bar?
It was political law, I got 97, criminal law 96.
You will realize, but in your practice now, you also delve in corporation law.
Yes.
Well, that's in your law office. You accept all kinds of cases.
We are a one-stop firm. We cater to all the needs of our clientele.
That's good because the Supreme Court is a court of general jurisdiction, and so you have to be an expert in all kinds of law. Although that is impossible, really.
Yes, I'm actually a specialist and a generalist at the same time.
So, deep inside you, you believe that you are deserving of appointment to as Chief Justice of the Supreme Court.
Yes, sir.
On that note, thank you very much.
Congressman Tupas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good noon, Attorney Morales. Yeah. You're the managing partner of CCIP Salazar.
Yes,
Law
sir.
firm.
Yeah.
Okay. And it seems that at least sa akin, no, sa pananaw ko, at least parang you have this lucrative practice, di ba?
Yes.
As dun sa one of the leading major law firms. Ano po yung naisip nyo? Bakit gusto nyo pang pumunta sa gobyerno at sa third branch, yung